Today we're going to listen to a collection of poems, and they are patriotic poems. Let's talk about poetry before we listen. So we'll talk about elements of poetry. Well, what is that? What is it? In fact, what is a poem? So a poem are basically words that poets use in special ways so that what you're listening to or what you're reading sounds good and it's fun to read. Poems have certain things. One thing that they have is called rhythm. And well, what is rhythm? Rhythm is a pattern of beats. So you can clap along to a beat of a familiar nursery rhyme. That would be your rhythm. It's kind of like music. Your music that you listen to has a beat to it. Well, a lot of times poetry does too. And sometimes poets also use rhyming words. And we know what rhyming words are. So the rhyme is the repetition of the same sound or sounds at the end of a word. So rhyming words end with the same sound or sounds, like cat, sat, mat. And poets also use describing words. And those describing words help you understand how something looks or sounds or feels or smells or tastes. It helps you create that mental image that we've talked about, what that poet wants you to see in your mind as you hear or read the poem. All right, so let's go to our collection of poems. There we go. So remember, poetry uses the images, that's the pictures, the sounds, and the rhythm. Remember, rhythm is the beat, to express the poet's ideas or feelings. I want you to look for and listen for the rhyming words that have the same ending sounds. I want you to try to feel the rhythm or the beat of the words. And I want you to look for words that help you create a mental image of what you're listening to. So remember, these are patriotic poems. People who write poems are called poets. They're authors, kind of like authors of poems. Poets. So let's find out about one of our poets.
Christine O'Connell George always thought she would be a scientist when she grew up. She loved doing experiments, like growing seeds and making stink bombs. It wasn't until later that she became a writer. Now, Miss O'Connell George is an award-winning poet. Many of her poems are about nature. She often gets ideas for poetry from the animals in her own backyard: an owl, coyotes, peacocks, and a frog that lives on her porch. Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle came to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat, and called it macaroni. Traditional song, Labor Day. First Monday in September, that's when we remember to honor workers who toil long. Their efforts make our country strong. We give a gift they all like best. We give them all a day of rest. Marcy Ridlin.
Okay, so I hear lots of rhyming in Labor Day poem. In this one, it said September, remember, long, strong, best, rest. So we hear some rhyme in our poem Labor Day.
A Day for Martin Luther King, Jr. We hear the words, "Let freedom ring," and think of Martin Luther King. A man of honor, standing tall, dreamed of equality for all. He saw a world where there could be all people living proud and free. Today we celebrate and sing, so here and now, let freedom ring.
Okay.
Kate Arnold.
I could feel the beat in those words, and I could hear the rhyme. So ring, king, rhyme. Tall, all, rhyme. Be free, rhyme. Sing, ring, rhyme. Look how these rhyming words are at the ends of our lines. That helps us to establish that beat in our poem.
Celebration. Wait here a minute. I'll bring your gifts. Ribbons for your branches, buckets of water, and a wheelbarrow of mulch. Happy Arbor Day. Christine O'Connell George.
Okay, so what I want you to do is go back and listen to these poems. Go back and listen to these poems. And I want you to think about how these poems make you feel. What kind of mental images did you create in your mind when you were listening to these?